I'm Papa J. Welcome to Papa J's shop yet again. So many years ago, long before most of you were born, I worked directly for a cabinet company, and I was a manager. Isn't that scary? And all the managers had a dispatcher who was assigned to them. And back in them old days, that was my dispatcher named Megan. So you never ever worked for family or friends. But Megan whined and cried and complained until eventually I came over and we designed this beautiful kitchen for her. And she got absolutely all the cool stuff she wanted, except she wanted a tilt out on her sink. But because she bought this Gigunda sink, I told her she couldn't have it. And she whined and she complained until eventually, look at her over there, she's laughing. Eventually, she convinced me to give it a try. So, we're going to try to do this together. We're going to put out the tilt-out tray unit. We're going to put the tilt-out tray unit in the existing sink base in spite of this giant sink, and we're going to see how this goes. So Megan forgot to hit record. Seeing as how she's not here, I can blame her. So we got the first clip off and get the staple cleaned out. On this one, there's actually a screw in my way. And we'll see how this works. I think I want to put that screw back in. Actually, I guess I'm all right without it. We can put it in after we get done. So, you're gonna get these little clips off of here, and we've done that together before. Let me just pop those out of the way. And we have these cool little units that are incredibly stiff that we have to get to pop down. So that'll be on here like this, and when she wants to, well, assuming I put it on the right way and the right side. All right, wait a minute. Let's get our stuff together here. There, like that. Okay, so we have these little clips that go on here. And they hold the tray and they let it come forward and out. So we need him right there. There we go. And we'll get a second screw in there. Like that. So now that unit can come in and it has a slow close to bring it back down. Same thing on this side. We get this little guy up in there. Let's change hands here and make this a little less awkward. I always try to do this so that you can see, and about half the time it looks awkward when I watch it, because it is. One more screw for the brackets. Whoopsie. And I think that worked pretty good to use the bottom. There. So now we've got the brackets. And all we need to do is find a little piece to put here. That drawer front, before I started filming, I measured, and it's 3/4 of an inch up on here. And that allows for 1/4 of an inch on the door, 1/4 of an inch on the overhang, and it works out really well. But I need to grab something to put across here, and in this case, I'm going to just grab a little piece of scrap wood. We'll clamp it onto either side. We can set that drawer front on there and it'll help hold it in place. We have to get it oriented, and then we can put the screws in it. That'll be the fun part. You get to watch me lay underneath, and yeah, this is gonna suck. With having the wood and the clamps and everything is gonna be too much. There's just not room in here to get all that stuff. So we're gonna just take the piece of wood and we're gonna set it, because I have 3 hands, and we're gonna set it just about 3/4 of an inch. We're gonna pop a little micro pin in there. We're gonna come, oh, look at that. We'll come over to the other side and do the same thing. 3/4 of an inch, and pop the micro pin. And the reason I'm using the micro pins and not worrying about it is that this is right where the drawer front is going to cover. The tray will be attached to it between the two. Even if these pins left a mark, which when I'm done they won't, you'll never see them. So the next step is we're going to set the DDF in place. We're going to have 1/4 of an inch reveal on each side. And we had that stick is set at 3/4 of an inch down, which puts it at 3/4 of an inch up, because it's 1.5 inches. What that's going to work out to is we're going to have 1/4 inch here. We're going to have 1/4 inch between the drawer front and the door, which is going to allow it to come out. So once we have it in place, take a couple of clamps, and we're going to make sure that baby can't move at all. And now everything's in place. More visitors. So here's where the fun part comes in. Look, it's an extra person, and it's a child. Megan has a daughter. When I knew Megan, Megan didn't even have a boyfriend. And that's the younger one.
Last week was 20 years.
20 years. Poor guy. We had way too much fun at work. I think that's why they made us separate. Okay, we're all done with the easy stuff. Now the fun begins, because while you were paused, a whole bunch of stuff got taken out from underneath the sink. And actually we're gonna take that out too. So the next step is we're gonna crawl underneath there. And nobody ever likes to crawl under anybody's sink, including their own, but from what I'm seeing, this is the only way to do it. So I'm gonna move you from this tripod. I'm gonna grab the little tripod and try setting it up in there, and hopefully we've got enough light. If not, I'm gonna have to go get a light out of the van, and we'll rig it up so you can watch what's happening. Now we've rigged up a flex shaft drill, and with any luck, this is gonna work, or it's not. And I'm not even sure you can see yet. This is such an awkward angle to get up in here too. So we've got this little guy right here, needs to attach to that drawer front now that we've got it in place. And we're gonna do that by taking our flex driver and having it fall off. So what we did here is I added a magnetic tip. And I'm not gonna pull that all back out of there just to show you, but you can see it. And you'll see it better when I lay back down here. So I added a magnetic tip to hold that screw, and it's still hitting everything. Doing this with a sink in is absolutely the last resort, and not recommended even. But we're gonna get it, because we only really need to get one screw to catch on each side, and then we can open it and do the other one from the top side. Boy, I'll tell you, this will take 10 or 12 tries, but I am going to get it. And hopefully you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. And did a bunch of this off camera to figure out how to make it work before I tried to show you how to make it work, assuming this all does in the end. So what I finally came up with after every configuration of reaching and stretching, it ended up, the one that worked the best was the simplest. Come in from the side, twist your unit around at 90 degrees, put it on the screw, hold pressure, and trigger your drill. That might sound so simple, but believe me, with the number of things I tried before that didn't work, it was just crazy. Same thing on the other pole. You're only going to get them so tight. So we'll switch around to the other side, and I've got them both started. So switching around to the other side, I've got them both started. Let's see, put my hand here so I can find it. Okay, I've got them both started, and in this one, I'm going to try coming in from this angle, flip it, and get on the screw so that I am able to press hard enough to trigger it with the drawer front. All right. Nope, still not quite there. There, we're in, and trigger. Go to the other one, and you just kind of work back and forth until you can get them in. Now, obviously, the easiest way would have been to pre-drill it, but sometimes knowing exactly where to pre-drill is really difficult with these, because you have to almost put it in place first and see where the screw is going to be able to work. And that's as far as that one's going to go. It works out. They're both in, and our unit works the way it's supposed to. Comes up and out, goes in and down. So last but not least, and sometimes this is the worst, you need to get the tray. And whether we're able to do it with the power tools or whether we'll have to do it with a hand tool is yet to be seen. We've got it kind of centered in there. And the trick with this is going to be figuring out a way to hold it, and probably again we'll be using a clamp. If the jaws are long enough, and they're going to just make it, we'll use a clamp with gentle pressure just to hold this in place. Oops, you can't see. So all I'm doing is I grab my Kreg clamp again, and the reason I like these is that the chances of it damaging the face, even if you clamp quite tight, it seems to be a fairly safe bet that you're not going to hurt the face of the cabinet. We're going to get that even. We want to make sure it's not going to hit underneath here. And then see if we can struggle a screw into it. And Megan's back, and she brought me snacks and goodies. She just doesn't know that yet. Quick trip to the store, huh? Just got to pick up a couple things. What are you going to let the neighbors have? If they go to the store, there's nothing left.
I don't need anything.
And there we go. And we'll throw another screw in over here. Pretty sad when you're trying to do something and your own arms are in the way. So all that's really left here is to take this little piece back off underneath here. That was our support piece. I can't get to now. Right there. That little guy. Through here. And somewhere down here, there are two little tiny nails. And we're going to pull those, or break them actually. Right there's the other one. And, ta-da. Okay, I'm going to get a piece of hardware on here. We're going to call it a day.